Hey BookTube, I'm back for today. I wanted to talk about the first week of Yellotober. We read The Repair of Reputations in The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers. And I wanted to kind of go over the last bit. And I'm going to paraphrase it a bit. So Hildred knows that Louis is up to something with Constance, isn't happy. He also knows that Louis has to either. Actually, I don't know if this part came up yet, but he knows that Louis has to either renounce the throne or he must die. So, Hildred, being the great man that he is thinking about what to do about these things. But what I wanted to do is, I'm sure this is everybody's favorite part of this story because it's redonkulous, okay? And it's probably most people's favorite part of the entire book. So, I am going to read to you now. So, let you know what's going on. Hildred goes to his place. He clicks the time safe opens, and he pulls out his beautiful jewel encrusted crown. And he puts on his crown. And he puts on his, robe, whatever you call it. Whatever kings wear. And he's looking at himself and quite pleased with what he sees. So I'm going to read a bit to you. The mirror reflected a face which was like my own but whiter, and so thin that I hardly recognized it. And all the time I kept repeating between my clenched teeth, "The day has come! The day has come!" While the alarm in the safe whirled and clamored, and the diamonds sparkled and flamed above my brow. I heard a door open, but I did not heed it. It was only when I saw two faces in the mirror. It was only when another face rose over my shoulder and two other eyes met mine. I wheeled like a flash and seized my long knife from my dressing table, and my cousin sprang back very pale, crying, "Hildred, for God's sake!" Then as my hand fell, he said, "It is I, Louis, don't you know me?" I stood silent. I could not have spoken for my life. He walked up to me and took the knife from my hand. "What is all this?" he inquired, in a gentle voice. "Are you ill?" "No," I replied, but I doubt if he heard me. "Come, come, old fellow," he cried, "take off that brass crown and toddle into the study. Are you going to a masquerade? What's all this theatrical tinsel, anyway?" I was glad he thought the crown was made of brass and paste. Yet I didn't like him any better for thinking so. I let him take it from my hand, knowing it was best to humor him. He tossed the splendid diadem into the air and, catching it, turned to me smiling. "It's dear at 50 cents, he said. "What's it for?" I did not answer, but I took the circlet from his hand and, placing it in the safe, shut the massive steel door. The alarm ceased its infernal din at once. He watched me curiously, but did not seem to notice the sudden ceasing of the alarm. He did, however, speak of the safe as a biscuit box. Fearing lest he might examine the combination, I led the way into my study. Okay, that is some brilliant shit on the lines of Telltale Heart, okay? Like, it's just, the safe is a fucking biscuit box. The crown is like brass and shit. He's probably wearing like a sheet around his shoulders. He might not even have spun around with a knife or a sword or whatever. It's just brilliant. The fact that he, as a person who's completely lost his shit, even acknowledges the fact that he thought it was a biscuit box. But I'm so glad he thinks the crown is made of brass and that my massive steel safe with an amazing alarm system is a biscuit box. That takes a lot of pressure off of me. It's brilliant fucking shit. Like, this is such a good story. And if you haven't read it yet, I feel bad that I'm like killing it for you. But it is so good. So he goes back to Mr. Wilde's house. They talk about their conquest that's about to happen. They meet this other guy that's into Mr. Wilde for some money. And Hildred writes his first order of execution as the new king of America. And has this guy off to execute Louis. And he is tired of Mr. Wilde's cat attacking him and all this shit, so he's like, I'm going to kill that cat. And then he goes to kill the cat, kills the cat, but then realizes that now Mr. Wilde's laying on the floor with his throat slit. And he was like the brains behind the throne in their weird little circle. And instead of the guy jumping out to kill Louis, he jumps out and runs into the new death chamber, which I read somewhere, people saying that might have been the subway. And he was looking at him as death chambers or something like that. There's just so much like shit you could like dig into and like try to figure out what the fuck he's talking about. And then he basically gets caught. Louis turns on him and has him basically hospitalized in the nut house. And then it's like editor's note, Hildred died that night or something like that. It was like one of those like Poochie died on the way to his home planet kind of thing. Like just like such a random weird ending. But oh man, it's so fucking good. So we're going to be reading The Mask this week. This one does not take place in the future. I think it's present day 1895, and I think it's in Paris. So that'll be an interesting thing. And this isn't the same characters, but it is the same like but device that this book, the play of The King in Yellow, is so disturbing, it drives you insane. So that is what we are gonna go with. Getting back to talking about True Detective and all of this, I think I'm going to look into that a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that the last week of October and we can talk about all that. Also, for those of you who are interested, I was asked to talk about my stuff instead of like the day of. So, November is Nonfiction November, so we're all going to be doing that, obvs. But I think I want to do some sci-fi stuff in November. So there's going to be some sort of science fiction read along. There will probably be something Star Trek related. There will probably be something Arthur C. Clarke related, or maybe like a creature of some kind related. So like I'll come up with different little weekly prompts, I guess. That seems to be working well, and no one's really complained about it yet. Don't complain. And we'll try that. Also, as I have talked about before, a lot of authors, and I mean, Doctor Who's done it, True Detective did it, have taken The King in Yellow and have adapted it into the universe they write in or something. So I was looking into it a little bit more, and they speak of this place called Carcosa, and again, that's in True Detective as well, and all this stuff. But I looked into Carcosa, and apparently, it's not apparently, it's the fucking truth. About 6 years before The King in Yellow was written, was it 6 years? I think it was 6 years. Ambrose Bierce wrote a story called An Inhabitant of Corsica. Carcosa. Why do I say Corsica? Carcosa. I hope I haven't been saying Corsica this whole time. That would be embarrassing. An Inhabitant of Carcosa. And I believe that this is the first literary mention of Carcosa. And it is quite an interesting little story. Maybe I'll do a video on that. I posted it on the website, the Weird Mask website, weirdmask.com. If you want to read that story, it's pretty short. So there's that. I'm really into short stories right now, and I feel like short stories are going to be my jam through December, because I want to do a bunch of like ghost stories in December, like Victorian era ghost stories, because that is something Zoe really likes and misses about back home in the Uck. So probably will do that. Let me see what else is there. Oh, there is one more thing. As a lot of people know, I was playing Conan a lot. Conan Exiles. It's a really fun game. Digging it a bunch. And then I came across this other game called Stygian. Oh, what's it called? Stygian Reign of the Elder something or something. It's kind of like a JRPG, but like hand-drawn and like Lovecraftian. It's about Arkham and Cthulhu and everything. And I downloaded that. There's a demo. It doesn't really come out till next year, but there's a demo of it, and I was playing it last night. And there were a lot of cool little nods to Lovecraftian stuff in it. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, I was wondering if anyone would be interested in me doing like playthrough videos or like let's play stuff of literature inspired video games. And I probably would do them as live streams. So if that sounds like anything you would be interested in, let me know, because it would definitely give me back some hours that I want to put into Conan. So that would be awesome. Also, that's all. So let me know down below what you thought of the Repairer of Reputations and how you're liking The King in Yellow so far. If you haven't read it, I strongly urge you to. You could find it anywhere for free. There's no reason why you can't get a hold of this. Like, literally no reason. So, I'll talk to you guys soon. So later, BookTube.